All right. Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon. Welcome to our Thursday speaker series. We have Jay Salters, who's going to share with us the fourth installment of cybersecurity networking. Before he begins, I do want to share with you that the next installment will be December the 1st at 2 o'clock. So just letting you know, the next installment for Cybersecurity Network will be December the 1st at 2 o'clock. Jay, the floor is now yours, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. If you've seen, I gave everyone the permission to talk because I want to talk to you guys directly to make sure that I'm hitting the mark on specifically what you're looking for. There are a lot of resources and opportunities out there, and I'll definitely cover it down. But I want to make sure that I'm catering to your needs as far as the things that you guys need. So if you don't mind, you can either put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. But what specifically are you guys looking for in terms of cybersecurity or IT? Are you just trying to be familiar with what's out there? Are you trying to get a job? Are you trying to knock out some certifications? What are your main interests? So, Carla?
Yeah, so, hey, Jay, how are you?
Doing okay, yourself?
Good. So, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. Specifically looking at kind of like pen testing, CEH certification, something in that realm. So I'm just trying to get these certifications under my belt. I actually did join Tech Boost for this cohort, the big Tech Boost, the one that's we're going all the way to December. So thank you for that resource because I joined that. I think just had our 4th class last night. So I'm just trying to get these certifications under my belt right now. I am studying for Security Plus.
Okay.
And so then I'll go from there after that.
That's awesome. Okay, definitely. So I'll definitely touch base on some of that stuff so I can help guide you get to pen testing. There's a lot of opportunity in pen testing. It's a growing field and expanding in demand. So definitely choosing the right direction with that. Is that Ariana? Am I saying that right?
Yes, Ariana.
How you going, Ariana?
Pretty good. So I've been trying to get into the Google cloud training classes. So the last one I signed up for, they sent me a link that said the class started at 8. And then when I went to go get on the class at 8, somebody on there was like, oh no, the class actually started at 4 a.m. And so I never got into that class. So I'm looking to sign back up again and hopefully get the right link in the right time so I can actually take the class.
Okay, yeah, they should be dropping another class here because the cohorts are going to end in December. So I'm in this cohort now with the architect program. It's a lot of information, a lot of good information. And the reason why it's important for you to jump on it now is because they're kind of waiving the process of you having to have extensive experience in the cloud because it's new. Not a lot of people do have experience. So it's really good that you signed up for that, but I'll keep track on that so that at least you know, but it's probably most likely going to rather roll out in December or January is going to be the next cohort. And then you can sign up from there. And then I'll talk about some other stuff that you can do in between of that. Okay, so we'll definitely touch on that. What about you, Ms. Jackson? Go ahead.
Hi, it's Carla. Jackson, sorry I missed the the first go around. So I have been following ACT Now education. I'm a veteran spouse, so I've taken a lot of information from the resources that you provided. Most of my career I was a Linux system administrator, so I'm pivoting into cybersecurity. I am currently in the SANS Women's Immersion Program.
Hey now, look, for those who are not aware, that is a program to be a part of. You have a really high employment rate completing that.
So I'm about to take the GC IH on Monday. I haven't figured out what the third certification will be. So I have had some interest, and I do have like a second round. Once I work with the SANS Career Services and they adjusted my resume, I did start getting more hooks, more interest, because a lot of companies were kind of looking at my background as a system administrator, and that's not where I want to go. So
what are you putting for it now as your time?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What are you putting as now for the position that you're trying to apply for?
I am looking, ideally, I would like to eventually get into digital forensics, mobile forensics, threat intel. But, you know, I know that, so those are areas that require a lot of experience, but I'm trying to find, I'm trying to find an entryway, a good way to find companies that have like larger cybersecurity teams so that I can move within.
Where are you currently living at, if you don't mind me asking?
Chicago.
Okay, and then are you a veteran spouse or active duty spouse?
A veteran spouse.
Okay, so you run in circles around your husband with the cybersecurity role, right?
And so I just recently interviewed for a position as a vulnerability manager, which I think is a good fit because it is a larger company and it's a financial institution. So I think that's a good fit for right now. It is not technical, but I think, and that's where I kind of go back and forth between wanting to be technical and not being technical. But I also feel like I don't want to be on a SOC. So, you know,
yeah, I was going to actually talk about SOC just to get people started, but it seems like everyone has a good understanding of what it is. But yeah, SOC is, it's the start. It's the starting point, right? One thing to note with that, right, as far as the direction or the direction that you want to go is, I'm going to recommend you use a program called Veterati. You can just sign up to it, and then you'll find other cyber forensic analysis or analysts on there that you can touch base with, and you can do informational interviews. It's a free platform. Essentially, all you do is just talk to them and say, hey, can you kind of tell me the day in the life of your job, some expectations, what does it like, what were your training paths, what are the things you have to do? Because the other thing about cyber is, like I said, as it expands, there's a lot of opportunity. One thing to note, I've seen a lot of people, so like if you go work for a cybersecurity company, which is mostly the goal for most people, right, trying to get into a cybersecurity company. But cyber is across all types of fields, right? And so not necessarily just only, not just necessarily just like IT tech and cyber, but there's across all fields. So the financial aspect has a cyber component to it. And so I've seen a lot of people actually break into cyber or transfer their skills to doing a cyber role in finance. A friend of mine, he's a pen tester. He was working for one of the defensive contracting companies, either Booz Allen or Lockheed Martin, I can't remember. And he was getting paid pretty well. But he's not getting paid the same as he is now working for Bank of America as a pen tester. He gets paid weekly, and it's about $240. And that's not including any of his benefits. That's just his base pay, and he can work anywhere. It doesn't matter where he's at. I
noticed that the Bank of America, their position, they have a lot of positions that I would be so interested in, but I can't seem to break into. I don't make it through the first
round
pick. So yeah, so
that all that takes is just coaching, right? And speaking to someone that's going through the process, right? So like I said, you can use a program like Veterati, find people that have a cyber background, or you can see if there's anyone that's in the financial industry or Bank of America and say, hey, can you kind of give me, because that's all really what you need. There's obviously where you're at and where what you need to know, that gap. That's just information that people just need to be able to provide you, to prepare you, to help you. And so I'm going to cover some stuff in here that definitely talk to that, but definitely, yeah. If you want, or any of you want, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you guys are having any issues trying to find cyber opportunities, I can definitely at least point you in the right direction. Another company that I know that's high demand, Palo Alto, like, Yeah, and I know people directly there that can hire folks. So if you're interested, Palo Alto, that is an upcoming cyber company as well, with a lot of opportunities. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are on board so I can talk to you, because I really want to make sure that I'm addressing some of the things that you guys need, and then kind of molding this so that it can make sense for you. I am going to go over a bunch of free programs, so hopefully you don't sign up for too much, but definitely find a pathway and then kind of go with that. So let me share. Did anyone else have any questions before I start?
Yeah, and Jay, what I would say is if you can just go and upload the PowerPoint so
Okay.
the participants can go and grab it early.
Okay, absolutely. I will come do that. All right, yeah, so it should be uploading. It's a large file, so it might take a bit, but you'll see it pop up in the chat section once it comes up. All right, can everyone see the slides? That's the wrong day, but
Yeah.
okay, awesome. I'm still me, still doing this. So let's talk about some things here. Cybersecurity is an expanding, growing field. Nothing's not going, like it's always evolving, it's always changing. But the demand is definitely higher than what we can support. And having a demand signal is significant to being able to find opportunities and job opportunities, upskilling opportunities, reskilling opportunities, and then certifications related to that. It's pretty much your oyster, right? You just have to be able to figure out what your lane is. Not everything, there's not a one size fit all when it comes to cybersecurity. You don't necessarily have to have certain type of things that you think most people have, and we're going to cover down on that. But I'm going to definitely talk about some things of why this is not going anywhere anytime soon, and that you should feel comfortable in your level of knowledge, even if you're just beginning or starting to knock out some things, because just to give you a point, these companies that we're about to talk about have been around for quite some time, right? And they've some of them are billion-dollar businesses, some of them have their own SOC or cyber team or Blue Force that kind of protects their data, and all of them have gone compromised, right? And so each day there's also a new threat, and so understanding that and that demand kind of leverage, right? And so we look at some of these numbers, right, with the email addresses, right? LinkedIn was hacked, and that's 700 million information, 700 million emails from their platform, right? Facebook was 522 million, and then the voter database was 171 million. Those are massive numbers, right? If you think about in terms of people's information being taken from a platform, their data that's supposed to be protected, and being utilized for whatever the hacker, or probably put it on the dark web sell, just to be able to see if they can break into someone's password, get account information, all this stuff, right? So that's why, like, it's really important. If you look at some of these companies, right, we got Microsoft up there. It says MySpace. I thought that wasn't a thing anymore, but it is. Obviously you see LinkedIn a couple of times, Sony. So there are a lot of Twitter, Uber, AOL. AOL was pretty big as well, but that's a lot of effects, right? And then you go into where it says personal details, passwords, Yahoo, 5,500 million, and Facebook, 419 million. And you think about it, think about the data that's on these platforms, right? And think about how if someone can kind of triage this data, if they store it from somewhere else, so that they know essentially the location, family members, what your email address is, maybe what your passwords are, what the things that you like, because Facebook has its own algorithm to kind of determine what your persona is. So they get access to all that stuff, right? And so that's the reason why, as we continue to expand in technology, as we continue to expand in development, it's always going to be something that we're playing kind of behind the power curve on it. And so anything that we do in terms of being able to help us learn, understand the threat, be able to fight the threat, get knowledge for our gaps, that's going to help us be able to find these opportunities. Because like I said, these are millions and millions of collectively, probably trillions of people's information that's been leaked or hacked or taken, or any data breaches, and provide it on platforms where information is being either sold or shared or compromised. And so it's important to understand the growing threat, but understand that is why the demand signal is not going anywhere. It's only going to get so I feel it's only going to get going to be a bigger demand signal over the years as we start to develop more new technology and things that's related to it. You see the credit card banking industry. I mean, Capital One, TJ Maxx, Home Depot, T-Mobile, Target, Equifax, all of mainly US related customers. And then you got the banking industry, 160 million. These things reflect what it looks like, right? And it can be scary. So that's why I said, like, if you don't feel too comfortable getting into cyber, you're like, there's a lot that I need to know. Absolutely. But like I said, this is a growing threat, and you learning what you need to learn to be able to get yourself in these positions, you just want to make sure you align yourself clearly with the path that you're trying to get to, and within terms of cybersecurity, because it's broad. So current skills, right? The skill crisis, like I said, high demand, 1.9 million jobs open right now that are unfilled. Let's think about that. Close to 2 million jobs all over the US. And this is not over the world. Over the world, I think it's like 3.4 million. But all over the US, these jobs need to be filled in and out, right? So a breakdown for, people that get into cyber for security. 56% start in cybersecurity, but they start in IT and then they moved into cybersecurity. 18% actually pursued a degree into cybersecurity or a related field, and that's how they end up getting in. 15% just came from a whole nother field. And then 8% explored some concepts of cybersecurity, studied on their own, spoke to a recruiter and got a job. This is important because there's not one demographic that fits everything, right? And this is the reason why I like to talk about these things, because people don't really get to see the numbers behind it. But granted, most of the people are majority IT folks that are switching over to cybersecurity, but that is not like the quintessential way to break into cybersecurity. There's a lot of different ways to doing it. And it's really, if you look at it, it all is based off of your level of knowledge, right? And so people moving in from IT, they're taking their IT understanding and applying that to cybersecurity and getting into it. When you're earning your degree, I mean, you're learning a lot about cybersecurity, right? But you're not really doing anything practical, but you're still getting an opportunity to get a job, right? And so that 18% that's able to get a job, they're just utilizing their degree to kind of open those doors, right? And then we got 15% that's just jumping straight into the field with little to no background or experience. And then 8 that are just doing self-study. So don't limit yourself, or don't feel limited in terms of job opportunities and what's out there. Just apply yourself. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just, travel your journey and make sure that you're doing what you can to kind of build out that opportunity to break into cyber. So why cybersecurity and why get certified, right? And here's some of the factors that we want to talk about. If you look on the right, it says how much do cybersecurity professionals make? And this is just roughly a snapshot on the median, which is average about 134K, so 6 figures, right? And then depending on what your degree level is, that can change going left and right. Now, there's obviously, I know people that make a lot more than this. Sorry, that's going to bother me. But there's a lot of the people that make a lot more than this, but it's a starting point, right? So you can be able to know exactly what is the range for you. What are you trying to get at? Here's some interesting facts about cybersecurity, right? And the reasons why people particularly focus on this, right? The remote opportunities. You don't necessarily have to go in the office anymore. You can do work from home, depending on where you go. If you're working for an agency, obviously, then you're going into that agency. But if you're not, then yeah. The growth in career is high demand. Tech wages are twice as much as the average wages, right? So the national average wage is 40K, and tech wages is usually about 88 or above 90, right? And then getting certified with that helps just add or pads to your resume, right? It pads to with their experience and your breadth of understanding and knowledge. And so 90% say that having knocking out a certification has led to them being promoted over those who do not have them, right? I've known people who've knocked out CSSP, and just because they want to be able to do it, or CISM, and same people in the same shop, they did not do that, and the folks that did knock out the certs got the promotion, because you're going above and beyond, right? And you're learning the skill sets, right? And it's important because companies use that for their benefit, right? We have this many people with this type of certification, these types of degrees, this type of backgrounds. So when they're going for proposals, if they're working for the government or trying to work with the government, they're putting that information down there. Or if they're working with clients, they want to reassure their clients that they have a well-trained professional force, and that goes into it. 89% tend to believe better performers come from people who certify, right? If you're willing to focus on yourself and your self-development, then I mean, that's kind of hand in hand. And then 88% say that, getting certification or have led to, either bonus or pay increase just for obtaining them. So this is the reason why it's important to kind of lay that out. So whether you're going down the cloud computing route, whether you're going down the pen testing route, or whether you're going down the forensic route, kind of think about what certifications align you with those things. Cloud is wide open, so you can dabble into getting into GCP, which is the Google program, but then also look into Azure, which also provides their cloud-based platform, free training. Amazon doesn't really provide free training. They give you training, but they don't provide like certification, whereas Azure, Oracle, GCP, Google, and IBM do provide free certification and training for their programs. So out of the 4 of them do. Amazon just provides training, and so you would just have to pay for the voucher. All right, so cyber myths. You have to be a tech guru. You have to know every single thing about, no, that's not true, right? You don't necessarily need to, and people break into it all the time. If you go on YouTube, I was watching a recent video of a grocery store clerk that became a DevOps developer, and he went from, I think it was in a span of 3 to 4 years, he went from making about, I think, 26,000 to now he makes 500,000, just doing DevOps. Right. And because the demand is so high, they need people that are really good at it. And so if you focus on your craft, you spend time, energy, and learning what you need to learn, that's going to pay dividends in the back end. Right. So you don't need to know everything. You can learn what you need to know and then apply yourself there. Just an example with the grocery store clerk. There are limited opportunities in cybersecurity. Absolutely not. There obviously you see is 1.8. Cybersecurity is not for women. That is not true. Absolutely, even though it may seem very male dominant, there are a lot of DE&I opportunities and quotas for different companies to be able to hire talent, to show their diversity, to be able to show that they support the communities. So that is another lane that you can definitely tap into, and then being aware of what companies do that. Like IBM is one of those companies, SAIC. There's quite a few, but there are a lot of companies that, have an initiative to be able to hire minorities, women, to be able to grow their forces in diversity. Because collectively, if you have people that think differently, you can think about different angles as far as problem solving. And so it's a big initiative to kind of help, get people into these roles and get people into these jobs. Because without that case, then they're vacant positions, right? And they need to fill them. Cybersecurity is for hackers. No, you don't have to be a hacker. I don't even like coding, and you see that on the other side. You don't need to know coding to be in cybersecurity. It helps to know language. There's many languages, over 13 different, maybe 14 different coding languages. But no, actually, sorry, it's like 27 or something like that. I know it's way more than that. But for the main ones, like Python, Java, C++, looking into that, you don't necessarily need to know them, but they can help you, right? Having that on your resume, and you don't have to be a heavy coder. Like, you don't have to be like, I know everything about Python to be able to put that on your resume. You can take a Python class and just put that on your resume. And then when you have your interview or you're speaking to someone, and they ask you, how do you feel about coding? You can say, look, I'm learning, self-taught. And they'll see that you have the propensity, to be able to learn code, and that you have the initiative on your own. And that way you can have that as another wicket that when you submit your resume to any HR company, the applicant tracking system that they have pings on those keywords that they're looking for. Completing a 4-year degree, you don't have to have that, but majority of the people currently in the cybersecurity field do. It's very highly educated, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's a standard, right? You don't have to be a SME, subject matter expert in math and science, and you definitely don't have to live in the major cities, right? And so these are just some myths that people put out there. You can kind of guide your career. You just got to really kind of understand what that end result looks like. What company you're going to work for? What's the company culture? What the requirements? What type of certifications you need? Who's currently working there that you can touch base with? Things like that. So we're going to talk about a site that you should definitely know about. And I'm not sure if any of you tapped into this, but cyberseek.org is a great site to touch on base with. And Jay, another guy I go to for cyber opportunities and things of that nature. We talked about this quite extensively because it tells you what you need to do, what opportunities are available, and it breaks it down. So if you look at the top right, is certification holders opening request certification. So these are the positions that open based off of the certification. We got CSSP at the top, in the CSSP, I think the average salary is anywhere from like 90 to like 160, depending, right? And you got Security Plus, that's the gateway cert. You need that cert to kind of be able to do defensive contracting, to get into government, or most like I said, most cybersecurity roles do require that. There is a lead up to it, like they want you to do A+, Network Plus, then Security Plus. I find Security Plus is a lot easier than the other ones. A+ wasn't as easy as Security Plus or Network Plus, so I was confused by that. Then you have your Certified Information System Auditor, you have your GAC certifications, you have your system, you have your CIPP. So all these different certifications, are in high demand, and you see the amount of roles there, right? So if it aligns with what you're trying to do, then make sure you definitely knock that out and get it done. Right under that, you see the roles broken down by the feeder roles. So the way that this works is essentially, if you go to the site, you can click on networking, software development, system engineering, financial and risk analyst, and it'll show you the feeder routes, right? So entry level, most of them going to be SOC, right, for some of these roles, which is not a bad opportunity. It's just something to get your feet wet. Not everyone's going to be having to go through a SOC, but it is a good opportunity to kind of say, I've touched base with, understanding how to pretty much like call desk or call center, work in a cyber environment on the floor, and being able to provide, cyber expertise on there and grow from there. That's just, it's a starting point. It's not the end point, right? If you look at the bottom left, you have, the total open jobs at the time that this was pulled, and you have like the supply, like 65%, right? And then on average, and then you have the top roles, right? So cybersecurity analysts, you have software development, pen and vulnerability, cyber consultant, you have network engineer, cyber manager, and cloud is not on here, but cloud is definitely in high demand. I think I looked at on the BLS, which is just the government's tracking system for labor for different jobs, how critical it is, the growth of it. Cloud was like at 400%. It was ridiculous. So there's a lot of opportunities in there as well, because everyone's trying to remotely store their data on either server or serverless servers. And so there's just a lot of different things when it comes to that. Everyone has a cell phone, your data is being stored. If you have an iPhone in the cloud, right? If you're using a computer, you're using Google. You have a Google Drive that's in the cloud, right? So all these things are kind of breaking down into that. So vital to be able to look into that and see actually more about the role that you want to apply for and to get into. All right. this is for obviously, you know, cybersecurity specialist, but this is, like I said, the starting point. So if you don't know where to go, this is a good place to start. But it's not for everyone, just to make that clear. But like I said, you can understand, like, within the cybersecurity and IT, where you take a traditional job, let's say you're a project manager for a company, and you lead your projects daily, right? And you're working there for like 5 years. If you leave before your 5th year, or maybe for a 3rd year, you know, it's not normal for people to jump off opportunities and go into another opportunities outside of tech, right? And so if you're in cybersecurity, I've seen people pretty much do a job for a year or 2 years, get the experience that they need, and then find the next higher paying salary, right? And that's pretty much how people build it. And it's kind of normal in cyber and IT, whereas other industries is definitely not like that. So something to consider. But here's some things that you need to know for your 5-year growth. You know, threat hunting, that teaches you about that, right? And then being able to say you have threat hunting experiences is important, because you don't really get a lot of opportunities if you don't, or if you're not, don't have much of a cyber background, to be able to see the cyber threat and to be able to go against the cyber threat. So having that on your resume helps out, right? Understanding risk framework, intelligence threats, network firewalls and phishing, all that stuff is important. The top skills required, you usually see that there, 1 through 9. NIST framework, which is important, vulnerability assessment, security operations network. These are the things that are needed, right? And then you break down the top certifications for this. You got the GAC certifications, Sec Plus, and then the ITIL certification, which is important. And so having that kind of understanding. So you should be doing the same thing when you go to this site, CyberSeek, to be able to identify the roles that you want to actually go to. What are the requirements, right? You'll see the salary, you'll see the skill sets, you see projected growth. You'll get to understand what type of education is requested, what type of certification is required, how many open positions are there, and then the skill sets required and requested. All right, back to, this is going to be a little bit more on SOC, but just to kind of break down what I wanted to show. So this is through CompTIA and their breakdown for becoming a SOC analyst, right? And they have a pipeline that you take. So your network plus, your security plus. You said the PowerPoint didn't go through?
Yeah, actually the chat was disabled, but the PowerPoint, I downloaded it and it's not showing up as a PowerPoint.
Okay, I'll try that. Oh, okay, maybe I know why. It's I'll save it as something else. I have a Mac, so it probably saved it as what I have. But let me save it as a PowerPoint. All right. So yeah, so as you see, that cybersecurity pathway, right? We talk about that, the IT fundamentals, your A+, your network plus, then you got your security plus, and then from your security plus, you either branch off into pen testing or CYSA plus, and then your last thing is finish off with your CAS. And so understanding what route you plan on taking is important. So I know Carnell, you're talking about, figuring out how to get to that pen test aspect. You're right now at the security plus, right? And so once you do that, you'll touch base with learning what you need to learn there. The next thing is you need to touch folks. I would probably do it now, but you need to touch base with folks that are in pen testing, right? So you can kind of get a better understanding and just on what opportunities are available from starting entry. And then you can get that from these sites, right? And these sites help you with that. So it's a little bit of work up front, to be honest, to kind of learn everything that you need to learn about some of these programs. But the good thing is you're marketable, right? And so folks will hire you because of your background, because of what you bring to the table, because of your certifications. And you really can't say that about other fields, right? There's always going to be a demand if you got some certs and they're up to date and you know some experience and it's good to go, then there's an opportunity somewhere for you. All right, and so this is just another breakdown of just the different roles and kind of talks about some of the certifications that align with it from the CompTIA perspective, which is known for throughout the industry to be able to provide you like that base that you need. Now we're going to get into some programs just to discuss programs that's available to tap into that can help you get your level of knowledge up, right? Because obviously there are a lot of opportunities, but it really just depends on whether or not you have the experience and whether or not you have the skill set, right? And so if you're not able to do something where you're getting experience, you can do something where you get the skill set, right? And so we talked about this, Pranav talked about this, he's in this program now. Cybersecurity Workforce Alliance is a free program, 12 weeks, and you get a good understanding of the NIST framework, and you get to do some hands-on, like pre-apprenticeship hands-on type of work, developing solutions and PowerPoints for different threats. The way that this is helpful is because it's actually allowing you to apply it. And then the networking piece, which is the mentorship that they have, you're taught or coached by a mentor. You can connect with them and ask them questions like, hey, how did you get into cyber? What are some things that you think I should do? What do you recommend me do as far as trying to break into the role that I want to? Do you know anyone that does pen testing, or do you know anyone that's in this position so I can talk to them and touch base with them? But that's really where you start. Another great program, and this is available for anybody, but the American Dream program, they offer a Coursera program where it allows you to do some of these certifications here. Now, not all of them are 100% cyber, but they are in terms of certificates helping you get more level of knowledge. So you have the IBM security analyst, you got the Google data analytics, you have the IT support, you have the project managers. So those are all free through this program, and it's 6 months long. It's called the American Dream Academy. And this is the only program that if you do have like a child or a teen in your house, they can apply for this program too. I think it's 17 and older, or maybe 16 and older, but 6 months for free. So yeah, take advantage of that scholarship. All right, so this is the truth. This site here, if anything, this site here is really what you want to focus on. A Cloud Guru Pluralsight. This site provides you with, right now, I think they're offering the free AWS, the Azure, the Google Cloud, and the Terra platforms. The AWS, I can't speak on the other aspects, but I know for the AWS, yeah, AWS, they have the actual server that you'll be working on if you were to work for AWS, right? So you get to actually have the hands-on experience on seeing the actual platform, working with it, manipulating it, creating files, deleting files, creating new sets of entry. It's a great program. So you can do that for free, and they also have the cloud computing aspect. Pluralsight is a great site for training and helping you prepare for certification, and I take advantage of anything that's free. So this is free, so make sure you utilize it while it's still free. And then A Cloud Guru is typically like $400 a month, a year, but you get this for free, so you can be able to utilize it and try to use it for the platforms to help you prepare for an exam. What else we got? So this program is a Microsoft program. It has nothing to do with really, it's a cybersecurity program, but it's really, I put up here as if you guys want a laptop. So like they receive $500 in financial aid for a laptop, or $375 for a certification, plus your LinkedIn premium membership. So it's a great program to be able to provide you with, supplemental costs based off if you're trying to get certified or if you need something for a laptop. But my bread and butter, these folks here, this is the easiest way. If you are in the Baltimore area or Maryland area, Texas, what other states? There's at least 8 of them to get into a cyber role. This organization provides you with the CompTIA or Security Plus. I'm sorry, the CompTIA, or they have some cloud programs as well. And the way that it works is they help you understand how to market yourself, to help you get your resume. They even give you a free business suit or business dress. And then upon completion of the program, they will help you find a job. So it kind of takes all the sting out of trying to figure out everything that you want to do. And it's for veterans, military spouses, young adults. And then obviously they have a big diverse crowd as well. So folks of come from low income backgrounds, this is definitely a great opportunity to be able to take advantage of. I'll keep on talking about this program because like I said, this is a program that if you're trying to get your clearance or you're trying to get into a federal job or federal role, use this program, use the Cyber Corps program. Not a lot of people apply. It's a fully funded degree with a job. Sorry, my wife is calling me. It's a fully funded job opportunity. So definitely make sure you take advantage of this. And this is the reason why I put this out, because it helps you kind of gear yourself to that direction. So for all of you that's online, if you are trying to, expand your opportunities, you want to pad yourself as much as possible. Having this program, having some of the certification program, having the education program done, or working in it, and then having taking advantage of like something like Empower, all those things are going to just set you apart from other folks that's around. Now, the biggest thing, like I said, and we've always talked about this, the biggest thing in cyber is your knowledge, your level of knowledge, but getting the experience. And the experience is the hardest aspect to get. And so resharing this, but these are the tools that you would use to get experience. So hack the box, try to hack me, Cyber Blue Range, and capture the flag. Those 4 sites will provide you with some touch-based experience. So if you're into pen testing or you're trying to get into forensics, this is for you. But for the cloud, not so much. But this is just kind of like a way to touch base. What questions do you guys have for me? That's pretty much the slide deck. Any questions at all? Was that helpful?
Yes, it was very helpful, Jay. What I will say is that the PowerPoint, once again, it's not, when I download, it's not coming.
I don't know why. Yeah, I see. It said the same thing again. I'm not sure why. Yeah,
if you want, you can send it to me, of course, email, and I can have it available to those who are interested in receiving it.
Okay. All right, yeah, we'll do that. Let me just try one more thing. I'm just going to move it into a PDF. Maybe that'll be better.
And when you share it, Jay, make sure you share it to everyone. I think you shared it the last time to the host and just the panelists.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I do that. Okay, I dropped it in there. Should take maybe about 15 seconds. But what questions do you guys have? Does anyone have any questions?
If anyone has any questions, yeah, feel free to come off of mute and ask your question.
I got a quick question, Jay. Being I know the pushes to get more people into cybersecurity now, do you ever see this industry getting saturated at some point, or will it stay like kind of like the medical industry where you always need doctors, always need lawyers?
You're always going to need cybersecurity experts because every day someone comes up with a new threat, 0-day threats, and you got to think about it from this perspective, right? Everyone on this call is very much interested in cyber, and they understand, the risk when it comes to not being able to protect your data and having it compromised. There are industries that, small businesses, they're not thinking about that, right? And so there's always going to be a need because it's just, for some people, it's just, they don't know what they don't know, right? And so being able to protect them, protect their networks, that's going to be always a growing demand. And as you see, 1.8 jobs, million jobs, we're not filling those. So yeah, absolutely. Ariana, you had a question?
Yeah, I see a question in the chat, Jay. It says, it's from Faith. It says, for those pivoting from another industry, what is the best way to demonstrate skills outside of certs?
The two programs, I mean, well, the programming rates, those CWA, the Cyber Workforce Alliance, IQ4 Tech Boost program, signing up for that, that could get you some skill sets. And then the last slide that I showed with Capture the Flag, the Blue Range, let's go back to that. Hack the Box and then Try to Hack Me. Those programs will show you exactly like your experience, because there are levels and things that you can accomplish. And then some of them are like Hack the Box or Try to Hack Me. It has actual like labs and things of that nature that when you complete them, you can show that to the employer, because like it's some of them are difficult, some of them are not, but you can definitely do that. Did you guys not get the PowerPoint not go out? I mean, the PDF, I thought it just dropped.
Yeah, the PDF should be in the chat. So if anyone is interested in getting the PDF, just check the chat and download same.
All right. Any other questions? Oh, you don't see it? It's right above Faith's comment. Question.
Yes, sir. Harry Joyce. I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon. The question was, I know I started using Try Hack Me. But do you know specifically, like, do those other websites, do they like allow you to use like the Nessus and the MAP and things like that, and like in depth?
Not necessarily. No, they do not. Unfortunately, not for that. What I did is I had to use I actually used my college. My college allowed me, WGU allowed me to because as part of the program, they had that in there, so I was able to utilize that. Well, what you can do, there is another site that I can't think of the name, but I'm gonna have to look that up. But there is another site that does allow you like MMAP access, so that you can be able to do better assessments and pull data. Yeah, I'm just drawing a blank on the name of the site, but if I can get that to you, I'll definitely forward it to you. And then that way you can have that. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if we just do the Google search, we'll probably be able to find that as well, because there's just a lot of free resources. I mean, I'm not sure how much you spend on GitHub, but I stay in GitHub, and there's just references, resources, data. We want to also make sure that you're careful on GitHub, because there's also a lot of malicious or malware in some of the forums. But that is where I learned a lot of my skill sets, and then at work, obviously doing cyber related stuff helped out. But I can tell you from a military aspect, military has done a good job at training me, but a lot of the stuff that I've learned is just hands-on trying to figure something out. Hope that helps.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. I'm definitely I'll send a email also, but yeah, definitely appreciate that.
What are you currently working on? Are you working on any certs? Where are you at with your journey on cybersecurity?
So I have the Sec Plus certification. I just started last night working on researching the pen testing. Don't know exactly like which avenue to take. I had an interview with Booz Allen for information security specialist, and really didn't know what to expect going into the interview. So the question they asked about like Nessus, just explaining how to, I knew what it was, but I wasn't able to speak to just how it operates because I hadn't had so much experience with working with the tool. Yeah, and that's something that they were looking for.
Yeah, and just so you know, like when you are looking for certain positions, you can look up what some interview questions are related to, so you can prepare yourself as best as possible for that. Because you got to think about it. We just shared 1.8 million, right? There ain't nobody developing anything new when it comes to these interviews. They're going to ask some of the similar questions, right? And so you can just do your research on what are some cybersecurity, based off the role, what are some cybersecurity questions that they will ask you? What are some things you need to get familiar with? What are some websites that you can kind of show that you have some background in?
Right.
And that can kind of help leverage or levy your opportunity to be able to kind of get a job opportunity.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the experience is minimal.
Yeah, you definitely, but that's for everybody, right? Like the cybersecurity is kind of like they want you to put your shoes on, but you gotta have your socks on first, right? But it's like one thing or the other, right? So you have to have, they want you to have the experience. But how do you get the experience if you're not in the role? Right?
Exactly.
And so,
Gotcha.
yeah, there's ways around that. Like I said, using some of the sites to kind of help you out, get that, a lot of stuff that you do hands-on. But here's what I would do for the pen testing aspect. YouTube University. You go on YouTube and look up like what are people learning for pen testing and getting into pen testing. You can develop your own, your own sandbox, and essentially from there develop, your server base and everything like that, and then you can test it out and try to either break in it or identify like ways to fix it, and I know people go online and they actually do that. There's different forms of it, or people like, hey, I developed this. Can you see if you can, attack it, hack into it? It's not like connected to your personal account or anything. It's just more so like it's an area where you can let them do that, and you can build it like so. You could be like, okay, this person attacked it. Let me see what issues they've done, or what things that I need to replace, or how do I need to fix my servers or my network, or prevent this malicious attack. So it's things like that that people do. But there's things that you can do. Is just the time that it takes is a lot. But if you're getting a job and you're getting paid well to be a pen tester, right? And then like I said, we were talking about the financial market. Like I said, I know people in the financial market that are pen testers, and they're pretty good at what they do, and they get paid pretty well. So that's an opportunity as well.
I definitely appreciate that. I also, I don't just want to throw this out there because I see that you were throwing different free certs. I know that Microsoft has something going on right now. It's like a challenge. But I'm working on that. It's a security operation analyst. And they give you, it's free. You just have to submit it by like November 9th. It's going on until November 9th, and then they'll give you the exam for like half off or something like that. But the information is free. Just some information to throw out there if anybody was interested.
Absolutely. Microsoft always does they either call them the cloud challenge or something type of challenge. Is a 30-day challenge, essentially. One thing to note is if you ever see them do, and they put this out on their site, if you ever see them do training, so if they're like, hey, we're going to do training on this cert, and this training is going to be live, they don't advertise it, but at the end of each of those trainings, they give you the certification for free. Like they give you the voucher for free. So make sure you attend those as well.
Appreciate that info. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions?
All right. If there's no more questions, Jay, thanks for the awesome presentation. To let everyone know that the next installment, which will be the 5th installment, will be December the 1st at 2 o'clock. The flyer will be, updated flyer will be on the Greater Baltimore Urban League website, probably tomorrow. So you can register then. With that being said, thanks for attending, everyone, and have a phenomenal day.
Absolutely. Oh, and for just one last thing for the next session, since it's our last session, I'm going to bring in some cyber folks that are next level. You're going to be able to talk to them and ask them questions and things of that nature. So if you guys want to tune into that one, it's going to be good.
All right. Appreciate it, Jay. Once again, everybody take care. Take this information, use it. Everyone have a phenomenal day.